Discover Orange Bowl press conferences this morning. We're going to have both head coaches here with us. All the media information can be found at orangebowl.org/pressbox. So please go there to get any information that you need. You should also be getting a daily Orange Bowl email sent to you. The credential and media workrooms are both on the 3rd floor, which are up the escalators just outside these doors. The Orange Bowl media party, the New Year's Eve party, is tonight. It will also be at the top of those escalators. It includes dinner, so we hope you all will join us for that. And please feel free to bring your significant others or other people you're in town with to that event. There will be a brunch tomorrow morning from 10 to 12. That as well is at the top of the escalators on the 3rd floor. The coaches' luncheon is today at 11:30 at Jungle Island. If you need directions there, that will be also in the media workroom upstairs. I can get you those. There is no specific media availability, but there are risers for video and stills to be taken from at the coaches' luncheon. We want to recognize a few people who have joined us in the room, the Orange Bowl committee members who you can identify by their orange coats. Tim Bailey, the head of our media committee, is here. Thank you, Tim. Mark Doucette is here. Vicki Matthews is here. Tim Battles, Tom Pennycamp, so we appreciate you all being with us today. We also have Bill Hancock, the CEO of the BCS, is with us here for the press conference today, so thank you very much for joining us, as well as John Steinbrecher, who is the Mid-American Conference Commissioner. He will be available for interviews if anyone's interested at 9:15 after both coaches go, so we will bring him, keep him up here near the front of the room at 9:15. So, with that said, with all that out of the way, we do want to get our press conference underway this morning. We have first from Northern Illinois and then followed by the head coach from Florida State. We'll start with Northern Illinois head coach Rod Carey. So Rod, if you can make your way up to the stage. I will let everyone know that after Coach Carey's press conference and as Coach Fisher is making his way into the room, we will have them both stop in front of the trophy. We'll take a few photos and video with both of them there. So, Coach, we appreciate you making your way onto the stage, joining us here for the Discover Orange Bowl press conference. You're now just one day away from this BCS game. What is left to do for your team, or what do you have left before the game starts?
Oh, got a bunch of this stuff to do, I guess, today, right? More of that stuff. Really, the game plan's to bed. Players are our work is kind of to bed. So, really more it's about getting them away, getting mentally ready. Things like that.
We'll now open it up to the floor. We've got 2 microphones. Kristen and Roberta are going around. If you can just flag them down, they'll bring you the microphone, and we will get started.
Good morning, Coach. Tim Reynolds with the AP.
Hey.
Some coaches do this, some coaches don't, but the night before a game, sometimes change hotels, that sort of thing, just really, really lock in. Is that something you guys are looking at doing?
Yep.
Necessary?
Yep.
Did you decide that before you came down?
You bet.
That's what I thought. Okay.
You can print all that, the whole thing, right? Now go right here in the front row.
Coach Fred Mitchell from the Chicago Tribune. Hi. You've been around this team as an offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, now as a head coach the last few weeks. What have you learned about this team, perhaps, that you didn't know as a head coach?
Well, I'm impressed with them. You come down to South Beach with a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds. We were all 18 to 22 at one point. I can remember what that was like. And we haven't had one single incident with bad decision-making. And I give them all the credit for that. Yeah, we helped them, but kids can always find a way if they really want to. And these guys didn't. I'm proud of them.
Coach George Richards from the Miami Herald. Just wanted to get your thought on how big this is for your all's conference, the MAC, being able to represent them. And going into your championship game, all the talk was about Kent State crashing the party, and then you guys win the game and you get to do it. Just how big is that for y'all?
Well, it's big. And those are probably the 2 things when you're talking about representing NIU, our university, and then our MAC conference, or the MAC. Those 2 things will represent those guys and carry the burden from a big picture, and we're willing to do it, and we're excited about it. But other than that, we don't look at the big picture a whole lot. So, football's about the little things and about the details. So that's what we've been focusing on. But when you talk about those 2 things, we're excited for NIU and excited for the MAC.
Come down here in the front row all the way to the right.
Good morning, Coach. Craig Barnes. There's been a lot of conversation about your offense and what their defense will do about it, those kinds of things, or what your offense will do that their defense can't handle. Normally I find when that kind of conversation goes on, the game turns on their offense and your defense.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, well, a lot of times that happens. Do you see that as a possibility in this game as well?
Yeah, well, everyone's made a big deal about our offense, which, you know, we do okay, but I think we average like, I don't know, what is it, like 40, 41 points a game? Well, they average like 40. It's not like they're slouches. So it's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to what defense can stop what offense, because both offenses are good, both defenses are good, and that's football. Can you stop the run? Can you contain an offense? All those old cliches is what this game is going to come down to.
Stay over here on the right in third row.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
David Neal, Miami Herald. Is there anything that you think of that if it happens early on, a couple things that could happen early on that will make you think, okay, this maybe not going to be our night, or conversely, you think, good, that's what we really need, something we really need to have happen?
Yeah, turnovers. You know, if we get one and, you know, we score off it, it'd be a pretty good feeling. If we give up one and they get a score off it, that'd be a pretty bad feeling. So, but that's normal. You know, in any game, you get those early turnovers, and that's a bad thing. If you're on the bad end of that, you get them, and it's a really good thing, can change. Well, like last year's game, you know, West Virginia's kind of snowballed that thing, and that's how that happened. Because those were two fine football teams last year, and all of a sudden things snowball. So, and it starts with a turnover. It always does. Tim Battle and I were talking about that one where Clemson's about to go in for a score, and they, you know, they fumble, and West Virginia kid picks it up and runs it in, turn the whole game. So something like that can be good or bad.
Right back down in the front and center.
Coach, talk about, obviously field position is important in every game. Talk about your level of confidence in your specialists, your kicker, punters, place kicker, kickoff, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, our kids have been pretty clutch all year. You know, Ryan Neer has really punted the ball really well, and Sims has made a ton of big-time kicks, and then Tyler Weedle, who handles our kickoffs, has been doing a pretty good job. A lot of confidence in those kids. They've been under pressure. You know, Simsy, in the first overtime against Kent, you know, they had kicked a field goal. We had to line up and kick, I don't know, what was it, a 42, 43-yard field goal. I mean, if he doesn't make that, we're not here. So he's dealt with pressure, you know, so a lot of confidence in him.
One seat behind that last question.
Coach, I know that your team's been through a lot this year, but this is such a big stage. How concerned are you about them maybe having stage fright? And if not, what tells you that they won't?
Yeah, they won't have stage fright. They'll want to get out the tunnel. I can tell you that. Our concern is always being too excited, and that you worry about that with every, like the Iowa game this year. I mean, we were concerned, a brand new team coming out and being too excited, and probably were at times. So is that a concern? Yeah, that's what coaches do. You know, we worry. But you try to take that away by focusing on the little things, on the details, and make it routine for them and muscle memory.
Back down front row all the way to the right.
Coach, this is a little bit of inside football, but the head coach at your university went to NC State, which was one of the only team in the ACC to beat Florida State.
You bet.
I suspect you've had a couple of conversations with him. He's been down there around some of their assistant people and talked to some of those folks. Does that bring you anything that, in preparation that's of any assistance to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're talking about this game, sure. You know, it does. But, you know, he didn't coach that team, so he didn't know them. So there isn't a ton. But, you know, he's looked at the film. I've looked at the film. We compared notes. Dave's really great that way. But you know, as far as the inside knowledge of it, I don't think a ton. But hey, listen, Dave Dorn has helped me a ton through this. So, yeah, to sit there and say that, We haven't talked about this game. No, we've talked a ton about it.
Right back in the middle of the section to your right.
Coach, I got the sense when you came down to the Hard Rock for that introductory press conference that your least favorite topic to discuss is yourself, so I apologize up front for this, but has it hit
And
you?
don't ask.
Has it hit you yet that tomorrow night you're running out the tunnel as a head coach for the first time?
Sure.
How has this been? I mean, football's football. I know you like to focus on the basics, the simple, the things like that, but I mean, how has this changed for you?
How has what changed? What I do?
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact you're going to be either 1-0 or 0-1 as a head coach tomorrow night.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's only
all
one
that.
game that way. Isn't it good that way? Can't screw it up too much, right? Yeah. No, I mean, what's changed for me is this stuff, which is good. I'm happy to do it for NIU and for our football program. But other than that, listen, I'm more comfortable with a whistle around my neck and coaching than I am with a mic in front of me in a suit. I can tell you that. My wife likes it when I dress up in a suit. I hate it. So.
We're down here in the front row to your right.
Hey, Coach. Steve Nitz, DeKalb Daily Chronicle. Can you describe what it's like? You took over for a guy who was 23-4 in 2 years. What's it like taking over for a guy who's had that much success, and what advice has Dave given you about being the head coach?
Well, what it's like is that if we didn't go 23-4, I don't get this job. I can tell you that. Excuse me. But so it means the program is in good shape. We're obviously headed in more than just the right direction. We're going down a path that we want to be, that we've worked for. And how much has Dave helped me? A lot. And, I've learned a ton from him. He's a good man. He's a good football coach. And, we have a good relationship that will change now. And it already has since we're both head coaches at different universities. But, excited about that change and what that'll bring to our relationship too.
Next question for Coach Carey. We'll go right here on the inside aisle.
Megan Mawicki, CBS Chicago. You mentioned about the jitters and the excitement. Everybody wants a fast start, but how important do you think it is for your team tomorrow, being the underdog, confidence standpoint, a mental standpoint, to start really well?
Yeah, well, for us, I've had that question before, and for us, it's always important, and that's a little bit of a cliche to say that it's always important to get off to a fast start. But with what we do offensively, you get that first down, all of a sudden you can start to play football a little bit with the no huddle and the way we operate. So it is really crucial. Is it more crucial because we're in the Orange Bowl? Maybe because there's more cameras, but other than that, not for us.
Any other questions for Coach Carey? Oh, we'll go back down here in the front row all the way to the right.
Coach, I haven't been around all week, but I suspect you faced a lot of questions about cameras and stage and all this other business. At the end of the day, I'm sure you've talked to your team. Not much of that really matters when tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, does it?
No. As soon as you get that first hit on the football field, that first tackle, you forget about that stuff pretty quick. It's like the butterflies when you first play your first game. You got them until you line up and do what you've been doing in practice the whole time. So, we're appreciative of it. Don't take me wrong. Not sitting up here trying to be surly or anything, but we love it, and we've earned it, and we're happy to be here, and we're happy to talk about our program and NIU and all that. But it comes a time when it's time to play a football game again, and we're getting close to that time.
All right, now we're going to go in the back on the right, all the way in the aisle.
Hey, Rod, Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. I know you mentioned the fast start, but you guys also have been very good in the second halves of games this year. Why has that been the case?
Well, first off, I give credit to our strength coach, Brad Ort. These kids all year, you guys don't see what they do in the off season. 5 a.m. workouts, lifting, running, doing all those things. And Brad really orchestrates that. And you have about a 6-month window to get them ready for a 6-month window. And think about how hard that is. And he does a great job getting us ready. That's reason one. And then two, our kids just have a belief. We talk about it all the time. And, we just believe if you don't talk about something, it's kind of the unknown. And if you talk about it, then it's not so scary anymore. So we talk about wanting to be a good second half team, and we are.
Stay all the way over to the right.
Coach Jason Hurst, WCTV out of Tallahassee. A few years ago, Boise State upset Oklahoma. Are you guys going to have that gambler mentality? Is there a Statue of Liberty play for you?
We were talking about that in the staff room the other day, and our running back coach wanted to put it in. I said, no, we're not doing that. They've seen it before. It was a funny discussion. Yeah, do we have certain things? Hey, listen, you're a football coach. You got a month to put a game plan in, and you get the pen last. You're going to have some things. The trick is not to have too many things screw up your own kids. We're going to play this game to win. Are we all of a sudden going to become something we're not? No.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much. What we'll do is we'll have Coach Carey come down in front of the trophy. We'll do some still shots first, followed by some video, and we'll bring Coach Fisher in.